What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, we got a little bit of a slight break in the WNBA, and I want to use this time to talk about international basketball. Got an update for USA basketball, where some of these college players are at right now and what they're doing. And we're going to talk about Eurobasket as well. And don't worry, I still got some WNBA updates for you as well. Quita in the morning begins now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, guys. Let's start off with Eurobasket. And also, guys, in this stream, I think we'll probably have time at the end for any random questions that have nothing to really do with the topic that we're covering. But yeah, I want to talk about it. So we'll have some time at the end for some other stuff. But to start, let's talk about the FIBA Women's Eurobasket tournament, which tipped off yesterday with 4 games. And so I want to recap those games real quick. What you all should know is that Eurobasket is the thing that we've been talking about for weeks now. For weeks, we've been talking about European players leaving their teams and going over to Europe to play in a tournament. That's what Eurobasket is, okay? There's a lot of WNBA players that are in Eurobasket, players who are like actually European, like by birth, and then players who ended up becoming citizens of a certain country to play for that country. So, for example, Tierra McCowan, right? She's American, but we'll talk about her in a sec because she's one of those Americans who has become citizens of another country so that they can play in Eurobasket and also play in the Olympics and play in a whole bunch of other stuff. Anyway, that's what we're talking about to start. Okay, we're gonna get to USA basketball in just a bit. I did just want to update you all on what in the world is going on in Eurobasket. So, kicked off again, as I said earlier yesterday. And first up, we want to talk about Lithuania, because Lithuania is back in the tournament for the first time since 2015. And they made their first game count, guys. They held off Slovenia with a final score of 77, Lithuania, 71, Slovenia, behind a very strong, I would say, defensive effort by the Lithuanian side. This team was led by youngster, I believe she's 18, and the number 5th pick in the WNBA draft. She is going to be with the Golden State Valkyries, but just not yet. Justus Josita, she had 17 points, 6 assists, and she had a lot of poise for such a young player. Remember, guys, she is going to be on the Golden State Valkyries come sometime in the future. She was the number 5 pick in the 2025 draft, and she is rocking and rolling right now for Lithuania. All right, and also yes, Slovenia did lose, but I did just want to mention Slovenia real quick because they also have somebody who you all may be familiar with, Jessica Shepard. Y'all remember that name? Slovenia did not go quietly in this game. We saw Jessica Shepard be basically a one-woman wrecking crew in this one. She had 25 points, 17 rebounds for Slovenia, but it really wasn't enough. It really wasn't enough at all. And Slovenia gets their first W in a long time. All right, and also, guys, if y'all don't know Jessica Shepard, the reason why I mentioned her is because she is with the Minnesota Lynx. I'm going to try my best to mention names that you all may be familiar with, okay? All right, let's continue on. We also saw other games as well yesterday, including Italy, who ended up crushing Slovenia initially until Serbia. I'm sorry. We saw Italy beat Serbia. They were beating them pretty badly until Serbia was like, actually, not so fast. Serbia came back late in this game on a 14-2 run. And ultimately, Italy was able to come back and step up and ultimately get the job done. For the Italian team, we saw the Golden State Valkyries player Cecilia Zandalicini drop a monster of a stat line. She had 20 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, and Italy come out with the dub, 70. Italy, 61 Serbia. All right. And next up, let's talk about a team that I feel like most Americans are very familiar with, but some of the players we're most familiar with are not even playing for Team France. Let's talk about Team France. Taking care of business against Turkey. However, this was a game that I was actually worried that Turkey was about to win. Because remember, France is missing a lot of their best players. A lot of their best players decided, actually, we're going to stay in America and stay in the WNBA. And it wasn't until the second half that we saw France kind of get it together and ultimately get the W, because Turkey looked like they were about to take it. But France held off, ultimately getting the win. They were led by, surprise, surprise, the Golden State Valkyries, Janelle Salon, who had 22 points in the game yesterday. And if y'all are wondering, how in the world did Turkey get so close? Well, they had a dominant post player who was hard to stop. Okay, for Turkey, we saw the Dallas Wings center Tierra McCowan dominate in this one. She had 25 points and 15 rebounds for Turkey. And sometimes it bees like that. Sometimes it bees like that, where we see players who are not that great in the WNBA go over to Europe and look like they like Shaq or something. They look totally dominant. It happens. It happens sometimes. And if Tierra McCowan had 25 and 15 for the Dallas Wings, I tell you, the Dallas Wings will be a very different team. But not quite. Not quite. All right, let's continue on. Let's talk about some more teams, or the other game that happened. There were 4 games that happened yesterday. And the fourth game involved Greece. Greece ended up cruising past Switzerland. This was probably the easiest game of day one. They were in kind of cruise control in this one. Smooth performance from start to finish against Switzerland, who just couldn't keep up with the Greek scoring. Greece, 87. Switzerland, 65. We saw Greece led by 2 players, Mirella Fasola and formerly of the Connecticut Sun, Robin Parks, who you see pictured here. Robin Parks was on the Connecticut Sun, but she was ultimately not temporarily suspended. She was actually waived by the team. And so, anyway, that is your day one of games. We saw some really good individual performances. That led to certain teams getting the dub. And today we have a whole lot more games ahead of us when it comes to Eurobasket. And so we'll see what today brings. But I'm very curious to hear if anybody actually watched the games on yesterday. But yeah. A couple of games to note today. We have Switzerland versus Turkey, Great Britain versus Spain, which is a game that I'm going to be watching out for. We got Lithuania versus Serbia. We have Czechia versus Montenegro. We have France versus Greece. We got Germany versus Sweden. We got Belgium versus Portugal. And then finally, we have Italy versus Slovenia. These are the games that are happening later today. And again, as I've tried to mention throughout this, there are some really good WNBA players that are playing in Eurobasket. And when it comes to the top players every single night, they will tend to be WNBA players, either current or former WNBA players. But I keep a huge eye on Team Belgium. Keep a huge eye on Team Belgium. Vic says, where can we watch the U.S. games? Well, the United States is not participating in Eurobasket because Eurobasket is just for European teams. But let's actually use this as a very nice segue to talk about Team USA. I kind of teased it in the header for this stream, but Team USA basketball is doing their thing right now because the FIBA Women's AmeriCup is about to take place. All right, it's starting at the end of this month, and it's going to take place in Chile. Team USA will be in Group B alongside, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Chile, in their group. And the goal for Team USA is to win it all. All right, the goal is to win the AmeriCup championship. The reason why is because the winner gets an automatic berth to the 2026 FIBA Women's World Cup that's going to take place in Berlin. That's what AmeriCup is. It is a automatic qualifier. So while we got Eurobasket happening in Europe, we're gonna have AmeriCup happening for the Americas. Here's the thing, though. For Eurobasket, we see a lot of pro level players participating for the various countries. For the WNBA, or for USA basketball, because the WNBA happens at the same time that some of these international competitions happen, Team USA actually have a different strategy. Instead of having pro-level players, instead of saying, you know what, hey, Nafisa Collier, Asia, Stewie, I need come off your team and come over here and help the U.S. Instead of that happening, we actually see college players that represent Team USA in AmeriCup. All right, that's what we see. We see college players representing representing the United States, but for other countries that participate in AmeriCup, they tend to have a mix of professional players and sometimes college players. But for Team USA, it is strictly college because Team USA, I think they have some sort of agreement of some sort with the WNBA that it's like, hey, we're not going to take your players during these international summer competitions. But the only time that's kind of changed is when we see the U.S. participate in the Olympics. So, of course, that's pro-level players for that. But when it comes to certain competitions, we see college players representing the national team for the U.S. Okay. Now, the road to AmeriCup and the road to the gold medal starts in Colorado Springs. All right. We saw in Colorado Springs right now, we got 21 players who have been invited to participate in the USA Trials group. It's a loaded group of players. We got some college stars, gold medalists, former gold medalists. We got rising phenoms, all fighting for a spot to represent Team USA because it's a big deal. It's a big deal having USA on your chest and being able to say, yes, I am representing the best of the United States when it comes to women's basketball. Okay. Now, let's get into, first up, before we actually get into the names of the players who are participating, I thought it might be helpful to list out some of the coaches that we will see. All right. So leading the crew for the AmeriCup for this year is going to be Kara Lawson. Y'all may remember Kara Lawson, huge standout player for Tennessee as a college star. back in the day, played in the WNBA for a long while, and now she is the head coach of Duke, where she's been for a couple of years now. She is going to be the head coach for this AmeriCup team, and with her, guys, we're going to see. Also, guys, for random information about Kara Lawson, Kara Lawson has like done a whole bunch of stuff. Like she's, this is someone who led the USA 3x3 team to Olympic gold medal in the past, right? This is someone who was an assistant coach in Paris for the 2024 Olympics. This is someone who won as a player in the Olympics. So she has a lot of experience, guys. And as her assistant, she has some women's basketball legends as well assisting her. We got two-time Olympic gold medal champion Delisha Milton-Jones. Delisha Milton-Jones is currently a coach at Old Dominion University, a huge legend in the WNBA. When you look at back in the day, look at some footage, especially of the LA Sparks, you will see Delisha Milton-Jones on there because she was absolutely a baller back in the day. But she is a coach now, and she will be an assistant coach for the AmeriCup tournament. And we also have Jenny Baranczyk as well. Jenny is the current head coach of Oklahoma. She has been doing pretty well with Oklahoma, turning that team around and making it to the NCAA tournament for I believe the last 4 years. For that. And so we'll also see her on the sidelines as well. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. For the coaching. All right. So we got head honcho Kara Lawson, and then we got Delisha Milton-Jones and Jenny Baranczyk. All right. Now let's talk about the players. Okay. Let's talk about these players because there's some really good players out here for Team USA. And we start with the players who are reuniting, which is, I think, pretty cool. So of these 21 athletes, we got Hannah Hidalgo, who has been lighting it up in college. She's going to be entering her junior year in college this upcoming season, which is cool. She plays for Notre Dame, and she is someone who can get after it. She can get after it and score in bunches and just have a great time. Hannah Hidalgo is expected to ultimately make this team. And that should be pretty cool. We also have her former teammate on this squad, on the trial team as well in Colorado Springs. We have Olivia Miles, who was previously the one of the 2-point guards for Notre Dame. Now she is going over to TCU to see what she could do there. And that should be pretty fun as well to see possibly both of those players back on the same team for at least a hot second at least. But yeah, formerly of Notre Dame, currently of TCU, we got Olivia Miles. We also got Reagan Beers from the University of Oklahoma. We got Michaela Blakes from Vandy participating as well. Madison Booker from Texas. We got Peyton Verhulst, Grace Van Sluten, Hannah Stokey, Kennedy Smith, Reagan Richardson, Camille Pierre, Denia Little Page Bugs. We got Gianna Kippens. We got Flau'jae Johnson. We got Staley Hurd, Joyce Edwards, Margaret Dugan, Audie Crooks, Jelani Cambridge, Addie Brown, and Maura Mara Braun. Those are the 21 players who are participating in the trials, and it's going to be pretty fun to watch. It's going to be pretty fun to watch who actually makes the team. Now again, you got 21 players that are participating. 21 players that are participating in a trial team in Colorado Springs. All right. So the trials began on June the 17th. And ultimately, we will see what happens, okay? We'll see what happens as the time goes on. All right? Yeah, I just wanted to let you all know that. I thought it was important to note. Yes, we are in the middle of the WNBA season. Yes, there's a lot of WNBA stuff that we can talk about. However, I thought it was important to just go through, who's participating, okay? Because there's a lot of times where it's just like in the summer, there's a lot of women's basketball stuff that happens. Of course, we got the number one, which is the WNBA, but we also have a lot of international tournaments that are happening, whether that's 3x3 or 5-on-5. A lot of stuff is happening, and it's important for us all to kind of know what's going on. All right. It's important for us to kind of know what is happening. Also, guys, just a real quick update for you all. I don't have a slide specifically for it, but I did want to make sure you all were aware that we saw our Team USA team get some good dubs over overseas. For the FIBA 3x3 women's series. Team USA did secure second place at the FIBA 3x3 women's series stop. And so that's kind of cool. On that team was Morgan Maley, Michaela Williams, Sarah Williams, and Sarah Strong. So that was pretty cool. They did get some big wins. And so, yeah, I did just want to mention that as well. So not only do we see the 5-on-5 stuff going, but the 3x3 stuff is going as well. All right. All right. Thanks so much, Stern, for the super chat. Says, did anyone notice how tight the Suns game was officiated, especially in the first half? If they breathed on Phoenix, they got a whistle. Well, yeah, we saw that. Though, I mean, there was still a lot of physical play that wasn't called. But yeah, there was a thing that, like, man, Phoenix was getting so many free throws yesterday. It was insane. I was like, geez, can y'all stop shooting free throws? Can y'all please stop shooting free throws? But yeah, that did happen. Also, guys, I do want to just mention the fact that yesterday we did hear some updates for the activities, the extracurricular activities that happened on Tuesday. I just want to give y'all an update. So the WNBA did confirm that Marina Mabry's technical was updated to a flagrant 2, which does come with a fine. We also saw Sophie Cunningham, who got that flagrant 2, receive an additional fine for her actions in Tuesday's melee. No suspensions were made. Also, after the game, we heard talk from both coaches with their frustrations about the officiating. And normally, if you publicly bash the officials, you will get fined. And Rashid Mezian has not been fined, as well as oh my goodness, I'm blanking on her name. Stephanie White has not been fined as well. So no coaches have been fined from when they spoke out. Okay? So now, in the future, if they say something again in the future, I'm sure they'll probably get fined for that. But it looks like the WNBA is just trying their best to move on. Nobody was suspended. No fines for the coaches, though. Sophie Cunningham was fined, and Marina Mabry was fined as well. We'll see ultimately how officiating continues to look in the future. Again, yesterday there was a little bit of a tight-ish calls by the refs. Which is, we'll see how that continues. We had a lot of games that are happening today, and we'll see how the officials kind of call it. But again, the players will do whatever the referees allow them to do, and we'll see how the WNBA wants to handle it. We will absolutely see. Also, guys, I don't have a graphic for this, but we did have one game that happened yesterday. We saw the Phoenix Mercury take down the Connecticut Sun. This was a return game for a player who spent the majority of her career in Connecticut. Alyssa Thomas made her return back to Uncasville, and she had a huge welcome, which was pretty fun to. It was pretty fun to see. And she recorded her fourth double-double, 14 points, 11 rebounds for Alyssa Thomas. And fun fact, yesterday Alyssa Thomas did pass 4,000 career points. So shout out to the engine for doing that. Okay. And up for today, we have a couple of really good games. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. We have games. We have several games happening today. And a thing to note is that these games will be on Prime, okay? So we have the Phoenix Mercury going to take on the New York Liberty today. That game is happening at 7 p.m. Central Time, New York versus Phoenix. And then we also will see the Golden State Valkyries versus the Indiana Fever. That game is happening at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, the Golden State Valkyries versus Indiana. The reason why that game is happening so late is because it is happening in California. 11 assists. 11 assists. There we go. She had, I believe, 8 rebounds. I want to say Alyssa Thomas had 8 rebounds. I just wrote an 11, and so I gotta write more. I gotta specify, especially when it comes to Alyssa Thomas, whether or not that is rebounds or assists. But yeah, 11 assists, and I believe she may have had 8 rebounds. Again, the reason why that game is so late for the Valks and Indiana is because it is happening on the West Coast. So it's not that late if you're on the West Coast. That's not a late game. But if you're on the East Coast or if you're Central Time, that's pretty late. Also, a fun fact to note about it is that we saw some transaction news. We saw some transaction news related to the WNBA. And guys, Bree Hall is back in the WNBA, and she will be suiting up for the Golden State Valkyries in today's game, which I just find kind of fun. I don't know about y'all, but I kind of find it fun when a player gets waived and then gets picked up by a team and is going to play the team that waived them. It's a great opportunity to be like, you know what? See, I was better than you thought I was, and let me show you. Let me show you better than I can tell you. Okay. So I'm excited to see if Bree Hall actually gets any minutes today and what that actually looks like. So that is something to note as well. We also saw some other transactions that took place in the WNBA over the last couple of days as well. Let me go through those real quick, just so you all can stay up to date with what is happening. 1 second, guys. All right, here we go. Here is the transactions page for the WNBA. As I said earlier, we saw Bree Hall sign a rest of the season contract with the Golden State Valkyries. Just because she signed that does not mean that she might not get waived. She still might get waived. Probably will if everybody returns back from Eurobasket and they're healthy and they're playing well. Then yeah, she'll probably get waived. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to see her play some lockdown defense. That's what she does. She is someone who can play some real good lockdown defense. Pam says, did Ari get picked up yet? No. I really do think that maybe there's some sort of agreement or something with the Fever. I absolutely see her coming back to the Fever. And yeah, just because a team wants to pick you up doesn't mean you have to say yes. And so I like speculation, guys. This is not fact. This is speculation based on what I have seen so far. I do wonder if there is some sort of like agreement with the Indiana Fever that like, hey, we're going to get you back. We're going to figure something out. We're going to waive somebody. We're going to do something. You're going to be back with this team. Like, I really do think that's what's going to happen. All right. And then for the LA Sparks, I mean, this team is dealing with it when it comes to just players being out and getting injured and whatnot. And so the LA Sparks, they had to get some players and had to get some players fast. And they did sign Grace Berger to a rest of the season hardship contract. So that's something to note as well. For the LA Sparks, I mean, here's the deal. You got Kelsey Plum and Odyssey Sims day-to-day. They listed as day-to-day. You got Cameron Brink that's still just flat out. They are not giving us a timeline of when she's going to return. Of course, Julie Alderman is out, and Ray Burrell is injured. And she should hopefully be back by the end of the month for Ray Burrell. But yeah, a lot of injuries for this LA Sparks team, and they needed some players. And one of the players they picked up is Grace Berger. Okay. Also for the Dallas Wings, we got Kayla Charles, who signed a rest of the season hardship contract with them because they're also dealing with quite a bit of injuries as well. For the Dallas Wings, we have not even just injuries. So we got Maddie Segrist, who is injured. She just got injured. She's going to be back likely next month. We got Ty Harris, who is out for the rest of the season. She ended up having a procedure done on her knee. And then we got Tierra McCowan and Luisa Geisel-Soter, both overseas. They're both out and in Eurobasket. All right, so with 4 players being out for the Dallas Wings, they needed to add some more players in. So they do add Kayla Charles in onto their team for the rest of the season hardship contract. We also see Haley Jones join the Dallas Wings as well. All right. Hopefully all of that makes sense. Also, guys, if y'all could, please make sure to hit that like button. It really does help the channel out a whole lot. It really does. Ken says, if a team releases a guaranteed contract, does the contract still count against the salary cap? It does. It does, unless they're able to negotiate some sort of like relief for the team. So for example, you all may remember, now this wasn't during the season, but it's easier to do not during the season. Before the season started, we saw Katie Lou Samuelson and the Indiana Fever agree to a buyout separation type of thing, where a certain amount of money was put on the Indiana Fever's books, and then it was for less money than what was guaranteed. And then we saw Katie Lou Samuelson, become a free agent, and then she ended up signing with the Seattle Storm, and then she tore her ACL, and so it is possible for them to agree on a number lower than what was guaranteed. However, something is going to be on the books. There's going to be a certain amount that is going to be on the books. I guess it just depends on like whatever is negotiated and also league rules as well. All right. Okay. Sue says, did I miss any update on Asia? Is she coming back? I mean, last I heard she was still on concussion protocol. Beyond that, I'm not totally sure. So we do have the Las Vegas Aces playing the Seattle Storm on Friday. As of right now, I don't anticipate I don't anticipate her being back. She might be back. Because she should be out of concussion protocol by tomorrow. I think she should be out of concussion protocol by tomorrow, but it doesn't mean that she's necessarily going to play. So yeah, concussion protocol means that you're out a specific period of time, and she should be returning tomorrow. But again, they have the game tomorrow. I'm not sure if she will be playing in that one. Not sure. But again, the Seattle Storm is facing the Las Vegas Aces on Friday. So if the Aces want to win, they need her back. But we'll see. We will ultimately see what happens. I'll probably have an update for y'all tomorrow on the status of Asia Wilson and whether or not she is going to play. Because last thing I heard, she's still on concussion protocol and should be back tomorrow in terms of like being off of concussion protocol. Let's see. Tulip says Valk's missing half their team in Eurobasket. They are. That's what you get when you get a huge European contingent on your team. Now, they're some very, very talented players, but they do have commitments that you have to adhere to. Okay? They do have commitments. And so that's something to note as well. All right. Let's continue on. And I want to talk about something that I talked about before. I want to talk about it again. Guys, with all of the hullabaloo, of just what happened on Tuesday and just the sheer nonsense of it all, it distracted us from the fact that we actually have a Commissioner's Cup game, a finals game all set to go. And I want to talk about it real quick. I want to update you all on what you need to know about the Commissioner's Cup final and about what we're going to see there, because I think it's going to be pretty fun. Okay. So, guys, the date is set on July 1st in Minnesota. We will witness for the first time ever, I believe, the Indiana Fever being in a Commissioner's Cup final. They're going to be taking on the Minnesota Lynx, a team that was in it last year and a team that actually won all the money last year as well. The Commissioner's Cup, guys, if y'all don't know, it is a in-season tournament that is basically more of a traditional East versus West type of thing. So the Eastern Conference teams play Eastern Conference teams. Same thing for the Western Conference. And then after those games are done, you play each team once. After those games are done, then you see the best team from the West versus the best team from the East go head to head. And in this situation, it is the Indiana Fever versus the Minnesota Lynx. And this should be pretty fun. I do want to pull this up on the screen so you all can see it. So to give a little bit more context, to this whole thing. For the Commissioner's Cup, this is the leaderboard. Because remember, you all may be like, wait, didn't Eastern Conference teams play more than 5 games? Yes. And the West Coast Conference teams played more than 6 games. But the Commissioner's Cup is just for a period of a couple of weeks. And it's not even that. It's just a period of time. And the games that happen within that are exclusively conference versus conference type games. So Eastern Conference versus Eastern Conference, Western Conference versus Western Conference. And at the end of that, we have a leaderboard. All right. Now for the Eastern Conference, we had a tie between the Indiana Fever and the New York Liberty. They were tied. All right. 4-1, 4-1. And because the Indiana Fever took down the New York Liberty in a kind of stunning fashion of sorts in that head-to-head battle, they ended up being the champs on the Eastern Conference side. So for the Eastern Conference, we had the Indiana Fever with a record of 4-1, New York Liberty 4-1, Atlanta Dream 3-2, Washington Mystics 2-3, Chicago Sky and the Connecticut Sun 1-4. All right, and for the Western Conference, we had the Minnesota Lynx at the top as the top dogs. They had a record of 5-1, Seattle 4-2, Phoenix 4-2, Golden State Valks 3-3, LA Sparks 2-4, 2-4 for the Vegas Aces, and 1-5 for the Dallas Wings. And if you are like, why did the Eastern Conference play more games? Because they have one more team. Okay? Everybody plays each other once. They play each other once during the Commissioner's Cup. So there's an extra team for the Western Conference, which is why they played a total of 6 games in the Commissioner's Cup, whereas the Eastern Conference only played 5 games because Western Conference has 7 teams. Eastern Conference has 6. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, I think it's going to be a little bit confusing next year because next year we got, Toronto, I guess Toronto would just be an Eastern team. Yeah, they'd put Toronto as the Eastern team. So Portland is going to be joining the West, likely. Well, that makes the most sense, the very West. And then it's likely that we will see Toronto on the Eastern Conference for next year. But yeah, that's something to note. Also, a thing to note as well is that you may see the donation, and you see organizations, and you see numbers. Well, after each win and loss, teams get a certain amount of money donated on their behalf for a foundation that they pick. So teams and the players pick the foundations, and even after losses, there is a small amount of money that is given to these teams. So, for example, that is why, even though the Chicago Sky and the Connecticut Sun only won 1 game, they do have $7,000 donated to the charity of their choice. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. And now I do want to talk about something that I talked about yesterday in my live stream as I talk through Connecticut versus Phoenix. While I'm on that, shout out. Can I give a big shout out to Anissa Morrow? Can we give a big shout out in the chat to Anissa Morrow? Because yesterday, guys, Anissa Morrow played the best game of her WNBA career yesterday. Now, again, she's still a rookie, so still has a lot more to go. A lot better to do. But however, she came off the bench, almost snuck around and got a double-double. She was everywhere on both the offensive and defensive end, hustling, moving, just trying to do whatever she can to make an impact. 16 points for Anissa Morrow, 9 rebounds. She was everywhere. And here's the deal. Anissa Morrow doesn't play that much. She normally does not play that much. She plays a little bit, couple of minutes here and there, and then Rashid Mezian takes her out. She doesn't play a ton of minutes. However, yesterday, she couldn't get taken out the game because of how good she was playing. Anissa Morrow was amazing. She was absolutely amazing. And I got to give her a shout out because, hey, she from Chicago. So number one, I gotta support the Chicago people. However, even with that being said, like, she was flat out amazing. She really was. In a lot of ways, the best player on the court for the Connecticut Sun. Now, of course, the best player on the court in general was Alyssa Thomas because she's Alyssa Thomas and that's what Alyssa Thomas does. But Anissa Morrow, she did her thing yesterday, and I just want to say, hey, we are very, very proud of you, Niece the Beast. Niece the Beast went off in the second half in this one, specifically in that third quarter. She was amazing. She was flat out amazing, and truly, if she keeps this up, that playing time is going to get more and more and more and more. Okay? It is. It is going to be more and more and more. So yeah, man, like, hey, I believe she said it after the game was over. She was like, hey, I worked so hard. I worked so hard, and it's good to see that hard work pay off. Right? It really is good to see that. So segue to shout out Anissa Morrow. All right. Back to the Commissioner's Cup, guys. We have that matchup. Set for the Commissioner's Cup. It is all set for July the 1st. July the 1st, we will see on Amazon Prime, Tuesday, July the 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We will see the Indiana Fever take on the Minnesota Lynx at home as Minnesota looks to win the Commissioner's Cup for the second time in a row, and the Indiana Fever look to win it for the first time ever. Okay, so I just want to talk about this, and I also want to mention the fact that this could be a finals preview. I mentioned it yesterday in my stream. I'm gonna talk about it today because I want y'all to understand where we are at. In 2022, we saw the Chicago Sky take on the Las Vegas Aces in the Commissioner's Cup. In that game, we saw the Aces win for the Commissioner's Cup Finals. Okay? In 2022, Chicago versus Vegas. Vegas wins the Commissioner's Cup. We fast forward to the finals where the Sky should have been in the finals, but they weren't. Anyway, we saw the Connecticut Sun take on the Las Vegas Aces in the finals in 2022. The Aces win. So the Aces in 2022 win both the Commissioner's Cup and they win the WNBA Finals. Okay? Now, file that in the back of your head. Next up, let's go to 2023. In 2023, we saw the New York Liberty take on the Las Vegas Aces in the Commissioner's Cup. All right? Aces versus Liberty. In that Commissioner's Cup game, we saw the Liberty beat the Aces to win the money, the Commissioner's Cup money. Okay? That's 2023. Fast forward to 2023 finals, WNBA finals. Once again, we have the New York Liberty versus the Las Vegas Aces. And in that game, in that series of games, we see the Las Vegas Aces beat the New York Liberty in the finals. Okay? So New York wins the Commissioner's Cup against the Aces. And then we fast forward a couple of months later, the Aces beat the Liberty in the WNBA Finals. But both teams played in both games, in the Commissioner's Cup game and in the Finals series. Okay? Then, fast forward to last year, 2024, in the Commissioner's Cup, we saw the Minnesota Lynx versus the New York Liberty in the Commissioner's Cup final. All right. Fast forward to the end of the season, we have in the WNBA finals, we have the Minnesota Lynx versus the New York Liberty. All right. The Lynx win the Commissioner's Cup and they lose in the WNBA finals. But the teams are the same. Aces, they were in the Commissioner's Cup for 2022. They made it to the finals and won the finals in 2022. Aces, Liberty was in the Commissioner's Cup for 2023. They both were in the finals for 2023. Liberty and Lynx were in the Commissioner's Cup in 2024. They were both in the finals in 2024. You get what I'm saying? What I am saying is, if we look at recent history tells us that the Commissioner's Cup is the greatest measuring stick in the WNBA. That's what it tells us. This in-game tournament, it tells us that it's going to happen. It tells us that this is a measuring stick. It tells us that there's a lot of parity in the WNBA, where it's not just all the best teams on the West Coast, not all the best teams on the East Coast. It's a parity, and the league is split in terms of dominance. That's what it tells us. That's what the Commissioner's Cup does. It is a measuring stick. I believe somebody said in the chat. I totally agree. It's a measuring stick. For the last couple of years, it's shown that. And the last couple of years has predicted the finals. It has. It has predicted the finals. And truly, y'all can go back on the channel. I didn't expect for the Commissioner's Cup, when the Minnesota Lynx won, I didn't expect them to be in the finals. But look what happened. Look what happened. They were in the finals, right? My point is, if I had to make a prediction right now about the WNBA finals, I would base it on recent trends. And recent trends have shown us that the team, or at least the last 2 years of the WNBA has shown us that the same teams that was in the Commissioner's Cup finals would be the same teams that's in the WNBA finals at the end of that year. So, my prediction right now, I got Lynx versus FIFA in the finals for 2025. That's what I got. And I'm basing that off of the fact that both of these teams are in the Commissioner's Cup. And yeah, man, yeah, I see it happening. I see it happening because recent years has shown us that that's what happens. Okay. So I know that some of y'all who are New York Liberty fans, some of y'all are probably pissed at me. Some of y'all are probably really, really mad. Y'all are probably like, how dare she? How dare she believe that the New York Liberty won't make it to the finals? Now, of course, I do believe a healthy Liberty is better than a healthy Fever. Absolutely. In terms of what team is better, Liberty. Liberty. However, if you asked me last year, who was better, Minnesota or the Aces? I would say the Aces. So, yeah. The best team doesn't always make it to the finals. It's whoever shows up at the end of the season in the playoffs when it all shakes out. So, that's it. It is a pattern. It is a pattern, and I'm going with the pattern. Okay? I'm going with the pattern. Now, eyeball test tells me Liberty for sure, and if Fee is fully healthy, Minnesota for the finals. That's what just the eye test is telling me in terms of like just the actual play in the game. However, if I'm looking at the last couple of years in the WNBA and what has happened, I think the best bet, now again, I don't bet, to me the best bet is to say Fever versus Lynx in the finals. That's the best bet. And so we'll see. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I could tell you this. A lot of people of the various fan bases are pissed at me right now. I'm probably gonna have people who are like, no, Phoenix is gonna make it. Get mad at me. I'm gonna have the Liberty people mad at me. I'm gonna have. I don't think the Aces fans will be mad at me because Aces fans, do y'all even expect y'all team to be in the finals? I don't expect it at all. I don't know who really expects that. Seattle fans, some of y'all probably mad, and being like, hey, nah, Seattle is going to make it. But that's my prediction as of right now. We'll see what happens. But again, I think that is the easiest bet. King says, I drank the Fever Kool-Aid. Here's the thing. It's not anything particular about the Fever. My point is, for the last several years, we have seen a trend. We have seen something happen for the last couple of years in the WNBA. And I am just saying, I think that's going to, I think that is going to continue. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, if it was the Liberty versus Lynx in the Commissioner's Cup final, I would say the same thing. Okay, I would say the same exact thing. So, yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And to be honest with you, maybe this is the year that trend breaks. Maybe this could be the year where neither the Lynx nor the Fever make the WNBA finals. Now, if that's the case, number one, that's going to be real fun. That's going to be real fun. Can you imagine if it's like Phoenix versus Seattle in the finals or something like that? Like, that would be crazy. That'd be crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah. Tulip says, streaks are meant to be broken. Facts. Yeah. They are meant to be broken. And we'll ultimately see what happens from here. But anyway, that's basically the stream. Do y'all got anything else to say? Anything else to say? Quincy says that'd be crazy. That would be. But I'd say that'd be fun. Man, can you imagine? Oh, that would be so fun. Okay. Let me set the scene. Phoenix, Kalia Copper, Satu Sabali, Alyssa Thomas versus Skylar Diggins, drop the Smith, Skylar Diggins, Nneka Ogwumike, Erica Wheeler. You gotta add her in there because she's been doing her thing this year. And the defensive player that is the gift that keeps on giving, that is Gabby Williams. I'm just saying, that would be a fantastic matchup. I'm just saying, fantastic matchup if that happens. That'd be fun to see. I'd be down for that. But yeah, we'll see. We will absolutely see. But right now, my prediction really is Fever versus Lynx in the WNBA finals. Again, based off of what we have seen over the last couple of years. Okay. Doge says, could you please talk about Skylar Diggins and Natisha Hiedeman? Natisha Hiedeman and Courtney Williams have a, I believe it's a live stream that they do, and they just talk about a whole bunch of random stuff. And in one of their streams, Natisha Hiedeman was basically like Skylar did something, I forgot whatever. Skylar did something, and Natisha Hiedeman came up to her and was like, see, I'm paraphrasing, severely paraphrasing, but she was saying something to the effect of like, see, that's why I used to like you, but I don't like you no more. And Skylar was like, shut up, you know you still like me. I thought that was hilarious. That was hilarious. Eric says that's 2 Western teams. Yes. In the WNBA, Eastern and Western Conference does not matter for playoffs. For playoffs, it is the top 8 teams, regardless. Now, over the last couple of years, over the last 3 years, we've seen East versus West in the WNBA Finals. That is not by design. That is just how it's happened. How it's happened. All right. So the top 8 teams are listed 1 through 8, and those are the teams that make it to the playoffs. It doesn't matter exactly where they're at. So, for example, it could be that that 5 or 6 players from the Western Conference ends up in the playoffs. That very well could be the thing. It doesn't actually matter. But the trend has shown that the last 3 years we've seen East versus West. Again, in 2022, Connecticut versus Vegas. 2023, New York versus Vegas. 2024, New York versus Minnesota. So we've seen a trend of East versus West in the finals, but it doesn't have to be that way. It could be East versus East in the finals. It could be West versus West in the finals. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Yeah, Henry says Natisha is very funny. That was hilarious. That was a hilarious clip that I saw. Okay. All right. Well, that's it, guys. That's it. That is the stream. I think I am out of stuff to talk about. But again, we got a great slate of 2 games that are happening tonight on Amazon Prime. So if y'all don't have Amazon Prime, you may want to just temporarily get it so you can watch those games. If not, I think I will at least be doing that first game as a watch and talk. Okay. I think I'll be doing that first game as a watch and talk. The second game, that may be a little bit too late for me. I don't know about that. We'll see. Anyway, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Guys, happy Juneteenth. Today is Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. I know some people are off. Some people have to work. Whatever your situation is, I hope you have a fantastic day. Guys, be kind to people. Be kind. Treat people with respect. Treat people like they're actual humans. I feel like sometimes that we become keyboard warriors on the computer or on our phones, and we say all this wild stuff and then in person we're quiet as a church mouse, but online we are this like giant hulk of a person who says all this stuff and like seems to be like the toughest of guys, but then in person you're not, right? Treat people like you would in person, and if you treat people in person horrible, treat people better than you would if you met them in person. Okay, but anyway, happy Juneteenth. Hopefully y'all have a great day. Tell somebody that they matter, because they truly, truly do. If no one has told you, you matter. Well, let me tell you, you matter, you're important, and I'm happy that you are on this earth. Guys, y'all have a great one, and I will see y'all in the next one. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye. Oh, wait. I keep forgetting. I gotta play my outro. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye.
Are you ready?
Ready, set.